Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Library of Ruina. So essentially what happened in the last video was we did some invitations, we gained access to new combat pages and new deck builds, which I'll be showing you in a minute, and we've also unlocked some new abnormality battles, which we'll also be tackling very soon. But first, I do want to show you guys and girls my new builds. So firstly, I've completely rearranged Oscar's build and Oscar's deck to essentially create our first singleton deck build. So you're probably wondering what's a singleton deck. So what singleton deck is you get some of these cards, or a few cards that you get have singleton abilities, where like they're really powerful abilities. Like you can either like draw a bunch of cards, or maybe get a ton of lights, or even do a crap ton more damage than usual. But for these singleton abilities to activate, you have to have no duplicates in your deck, which means every card has to be different. And so let's go through the deck, shall we? So we got Wait Up and Mend Weapon, which I believe was already in his deck before. But we also got Extract Fuel, which is a really good card, because it actually restores 2 light on use instead of 1, which is really good. Also, you get that extra block dice, which is also pretty good. We got Sparking Spear as well, which, if you've seen it by this point, you're kind of understanding that on top of this being a singleton build, it's also a pierce build as well. Because I kind of like to have like different varieties of like pierce and blunt and slash, depending on the enemies we face. So we also got 333 1973, which is a really good card. And you also gain persistence for 4 scenes, which pretty much it says there, persistence. If you take lethal damage 80%, your librarian would revive with some HP. So it's almost like a second win at an 80% chance, which is pretty good. Now, here we got the first of the new prescript cards, to where the prescript points. So if singleton, which means if the deck is singleton, which it is, all dice on this page gain 1 power, which is pretty good. And then we also got Fletcher, which is a really, because I'm like adding power to like all my dice rolls and stuff, Fletcher is actually a pretty powerful single use attack. Then we got Transpierce. I love Transpierce, really great. It does a lot of damage and it's pretty decent with its blocking capabilities as well. And finally, probably easily the best prescript card you're going to get up until this point of the game, which is Will of the Prescripts. It has an evade die, a 2 attack tab, and if singleton, draw 3 pages on use. So if I use that, I draw 3 pages after I use it, which is pretty good. So this is pretty much, I believe Oscar's his passives are exactly the same as they were before, but I've just changed his deck up to be a singleton. Now, let's get into the second build I've created, which is a smoke build. I love my smoke builds. Easily one of the best types of builds in the game. Obviously, this isn't the best smoke build in the game, because literally this is like a basic as you can get type of smoke build. The problem being, we don't have some of the better smoke cards yet. Even Wang as a combat page, I don't think is that good of a combat page. The only reason why we're using him is because this is kind of like the first time you can create a smoke build, and we're kind of going to need smoke very soon. Also, the Sooty Thack is really good, and pretty much, if the character has smoke, stagger damage dealt with attacks by smoke is times 10. So, or times 10%. So, like, we can do crazy amounts of stagger damage. As for the builds themselves, we got 3 smoking paps. This is pretty much just a card to use that if you're like low on smoke and you need to restore that. Pretty harmless card, and you can also like defend yourself, which is pretty good. We got 2 inhale smoke, which gains 3 smoke. We got a trace of fumes, which does decent damage and also inflicts smoke. And also probably easily the best smoke card we have at the moment, which is Deep Drag, which pretty much inflicts 7 smoke. So you can inflict a lot of smoke by using this card. And you can even draw a page, which is also pretty good. So as I mentioned in the previous episode, smoke builds are kind of gradual. You don't really see the effects immediately, but as the battle gets drawn out, you will see how crazy the smoke builds can get. And ironically, we're about to be doing our first really drawn out battle, which it just happens to be Malkuth's realization. And as I've mentioned previously, the realizations are very time consuming, and not all of them are difficult. If you have like decent builds, some of them are pretty easy. It's just, it takes a lot because it's a battle that's specifically made to get, I guess, drawn out. And not only that, every floor has a realization, so you have to do this type of battle. Now obviously every realization battle is different, but the kind of core concept of it is pretty much the same. So you have to do this for every floor. So I don't want to spoil too much of it, so we're just gonna get into the Malkuth's realization, so you guys can see what it's all about. Here we go. What's up, Angela?
今回はアンジェラと一緒に来たよ。歴史の会の木が熟したとかなんとか。
アンジェラ、私も昔みたいにあなたを目の前にして怖がったりしないわ。
Malkuth's growing a backbone.
好きにすれば、あなたが私をどう思おうと関係ないわ。私が欲しいものは、あなたが整理した歴史についての情報よ。
Yeah, so the good thing is that I would probably say Malkuth's realization is probably the easiest one. It would probably either be hers or Hod's as probably the easiest realizations.
私は都市で生きてきたけど。
Oh, also another thing I forgot to mention. You can't do, like, once you've like done all 5 abnormality battles on a floor, you can't do the realizations in any order you want. You actually have to specifically do Malkuth's realization first, and you have to make your way up. So that means that Malkuth's realization is going to be the first one you have to do, because you have to play these realizations in specific orders. And obviously, our floor, I believe, is the final floor, so Roland's realization would be the last one you have to do.
都市の歴史というものをきちんと整理するのは不可能だったわ。
意欲だけが先走っていたあなたにはやっぱり無理な仕事だったかしら。
Oh damn, no need to be ruthless like that.
大小様々な事件が集まって一つの歴史を形成するのは確かなんだけど、大きな事件と事件の間の空白が長すぎて明確に整理できなかったの。
But even though the realizations themselves are annoying, you do get some great lore out of it.
まるでちゃんと覚えている人がいないみたい。
むしろ覚えようとしないのかもしれないな。
覚えようとしないって？
昔のことを振り返ったところで今の自分には何の役にも立たないでしょうね。
過去を知ることができれば少なくとも同じ失敗を二度と繰り返さないようにできるわ。
そうかもね。でもその過去を振り返る苦しみにまで耐えないといけないのかしら。
前にも言ったように都市じゃ自分を振り返れる時間がだんだん減っているんだ。だから 都市の人たちから生まれる前のことを、特に自分と関係のないことを知るのは難しいだろうな。まともに記憶してる人がいないだろうから。
いいえ、みんな記憶しているはずよ。覗き込む勇気がないのよ。私残りの時間もちゃんと思い出して記録するわ。図書館とロボトミー、そしてそれ以前の出来事、この血で書かれた歴史をすべて。
Good on you, Malkuth, even though I will say that is probably a lot of disturbing history you gotta uncover there.
職員と幻想体、無数に繰り返していた苦しみと死、そして目を背けた果てに図書館が建てられたの。
あなたもそう違いはないわ。
ええ、私も同じよ。トシも同じでしょうね。最初の人生でカルメンと共にした私たちの仕事、2番目の人生でアンジェラ、あなたと共にした全てのこと、その全ての痛みをしっかり心に刻むわ。アンジェラ、あなたこそ誰よりも過去を思い出そうとせずに必死で目を背けているのよ。
どんな過去だとしても同じでしょ。人間が他の人間を殺してこういう状態になった、この繰り返しでしょうね。ああ、図書館なら人間じゃないものが人間を殺したって違いだけ。果たしてマルクとあなたがやろうとしている記録に意味はあるのかしら。
でも繰り返す歴史といっても、これからの未来が繰り返しだとは断言できないわ。むしろ記憶が歴史を繰り返させるから、対象になったその血を無駄にしちゃダメなのよ。過去に降り注いだ血が未来の可能性を見せてくれたからこそ、生き残った人々は先人が開いてくれた新しい道へと進んでいけるのよ。アンジェラもきっとその始まりからつながって今に至るのよ。
言うだけなら簡単よ。何でも知ってる風に喋るのは見ているだけでも疲れるわね。繰り返す歴史の中で意志を固めるですって。私の始まり、あなたが私の始まりについて軽々しく口にできる
Oh
資
boy,
格
I
は
don't
あ
like
る
where this conversation's headed.
アンジェラ、あなたこそその最初を受け入れられずにいるじゃないの。
Listen to your own history.
本当にちっとも似てませんね。
Oh,
でもアインさん、あなたにもはっきり分かってい
we're
たじゃない
about
ですか。
to meet Angela's creator.
あなたは1番のボタンを押せばいちご味のソーダを出してくれる自販機が欲しかったんですか？
A simple vending machine.
そうかもな。
Oh damn, he actually thinks of her as a vending machine.
それなら名前だけでも決めてくださいよ。そんな顔してもどうしようもないですよ。設計者が名前を決めるのがルールじゃないですか。
機械の名前なんかはお前が好きにしろ。
Wow, this guy is mean.
僕に押し付けないでくださいよ。明らかに設計者はあなたなのに。
No wonder Angela became the way she did.
あなたが作った機械の前で直接呼んでください。すぐ前にあるあの扉です。
お前は地獄に閉じ込められた俺たちを引っ張っていくための機械。アンゲロス、
Angelos.
アンジェラ。
アイン、あなたを覚えています。笑顔が温かい人でしたね。
結局はただの機械だ。
先生。
私は何か間違えましたか？
Oh damn, we got young Angela in the building.
アンジェラ、分かってくれ。まだあの方は準備ができてないだけだ。ちょっと時間が必要なだけだから、そんなに心配しないで。
ベンジャミン、一つお尋ねしてもよろしいですか？
うん、僕が答えられることなら何でも。
私には全てが遅く見えます。あなたの動きがとても遅いんです。口を開くまでの瞬間も 私の体までもがです。体が考えに追いつけないような感じがするんです。
それはアンジェラ、時間を100倍遅く感知するように設計したからだよ。
どうしてですか？
これからやるべきことを進めていく上で様々な非常事態が起こると思うんだ。アンジェラ、君が誰よりも先にそんな状況
Okay,
に
so
対処しなきゃならないだろ
essentially
うし。
she's able to like slow down time at a standstill. So if something goes wrong, she can immediately like do something while everyone's going in that slow motion style.
しかも君は見るものすべてを生々しく覚え続けることになるだろうね。
そうですか。私が担当する仕事は何ですか？
もうじきわかると思うよ。いや、君にとってはもうじきじゃないだろうね。ごめんね、
We're
アンジェラ。
finally getting that lobotomy corporation backstory in its entirety.
どうして謝るんですか？
僕たちがあの方と君に悪いことをした気がしてならないから。さあ、僕がいくつか教えてあげる。この会社と都市についてね。都市の裏路地では掃除屋やフィクサーたちが吐砂物にまみれて、その人たちだけの物語を編み出してるんだ。外角の人たちはどうやってでも都市に入ろうとあがいて、都市の人たちは巣に属そうと自分の人生を投げ捨てたんだ。僕らはこんな都市を変えるんだ。だからこれからやるべきことがたくさんあるんだ。
どうしてあなたは私をちゃんと見てくれないんですか？
機械は機械らしく疑問を持つな。
Wow! This guy's a complete douchebag.
それならどうして私は疑問を持てるように作られたんですか？
This is pretty much a similar situation to a father not wanting the baby. Being like, nope, that's not my daughter. I don't want her. You can have her. I didn't sign up for this.
どうして人工知能倫理改正案を破りながら私を作らないといけなかったんですか？どうしてあなたを覚えている人たちを模倣して作る必要があったんですか？私はこんなにあなただけを見つめているのに。
So Angela's physical appearance was modeled after somebody he cared about. I wonder who.
見るな、話しかけてくるな。
Maybe an ex-lover? Maybe that's why he doesn't want to look at her because it brings up painful memories.
お前はあの人じゃない。ただの機械だ。
You're just a machine. Wow.
ベンジャミン、私が機械として生まれてきたことがいけないんですか？
誰かにとっては問題かもしれないけど、少なくとも僕にとってはそうでもないな。君がどんな存在かを決定するのは機械か人間かじゃないからね。
それなら私がいい心を持とうと努力すればあの人は振り向いてくれ
Gonna
ま
be
す。
honest, Angela. I feel like with what we've seen from him so far, that's a pipe dream.
そのはず。いつかはね。
あなたを信じてみます、ベンジャミン。これは何ですか？台本というものですね。
A script.
私のやるべきこと、
It's not a prescript, is it?
私が作られた目的。本当にこのまま計画を進めれば私は、あなたは地獄から救われるんでしょうか？答えてくれるわけないでしょうね。
なんだよ今見えたのは。
So we just took a peek into Angela's memories. Oh, she's not gonna be happy about that.
これはアンジェラの記憶。
Uh-oh.
アンジェラ大丈夫か？
途方に暮れて
It's not what it looks like, Angela. It was an
迷
accident.
っていたくせに
We just
今になって説教だなんて。
we were just inceptioned, okay? We had no control over that. Oh, yeah. She's about to tear us limb from limb.
少なくともあなたには最後に見てくれる人がいたとでも言いたいの？笑わせないで。
Holy crap.
マルクト、何が起こってるんだ？
アンジェラと図書館が共鳴してるわ。
Oh no. Is she manifesting herself?
アンジェラの心象に図書館が反応しているみたい。
So pretty much similarly to what's happening with Philip.
私も詳しいことはわからないけど、このままじゃきっと。
あなたは最後に向き合ってもらえてよかったわね。
まさかあの化け物、いやねじれか。
Oh no, not distortion.
あの姿はきっとアンジェラの心と図書館の力が作り出したもう一つの姿よ。
危ない感じが伝わってくるんだけどな。何
You
を
got
ど
no
うすれば
choice
いいんだ
but to
よ。
fight.
心が物理的に発現したってことは、逆に物理的な方法で心を片付けられるってことじゃない？
We have to battle Angela.
要するにあのアンジェラをゲストと同じように応対すれば心のわだかまりが解けるってことか。
私もよくわからないけど、これしか方法はないでしょうね。直接確かめるしか。
策もなしでそれはさすがに勇敢すぎないか？
Oh boy, here we go. Okay, everyone, let me explain how realizations work. So, it's not as simple as just defeating her here. Essentially, what we gotta do is we gotta get Angela's health down to 1. And what happens is whenever you get Angela's health down to 1, it will switch acts. Now, the way it works is there's 5 acts or 5 different battles you have to. It's kind of like a boss rush, where you gotta face like 5 different versions of Angela, 4 of which are kind of like similar or different iterations of the abnormalities you faced on the floor you're doing the realization in. The 5th one though is a completely different version of Angela that you haven't faced with an abnormality, and usually those ones are kind of like the hardest and have special conditions. And so yeah, that's how it works. But if you know how to like defeat the abnormalities, then for the most part the realizations themselves shouldn't be too bad. What you just want to do is you essentially just want to survive as long as possible. Alright, so so we remember with this one we gotta kill the okay, so we gotta kill the swords because they damage. Alright. So we're gonna have Malkuth. So we're gonna do the double melee. Yeah, so we're gonna target 2 of them at a time. Yeah, we're gonna do daring decisions. And then I'll probably alternate the 5th one between the 2. And then I'll probably use an extract fuel. There we go. Alright. There we go. So pretty much, I'm pretty sure with this one, all we need to do is just defeat the swords. Okay, so this one, we're going to use a riposte. And that. And then probably a daring decision. And then I think everyone else will target the others. Alright. And then we're gonna hit that smoke pad. Alright, there we go. So this should leave us with hopefully one sword left. Alright, there we go. There's one down. And there's another down. Yeah, so we're probably just gonna go with the ashes. Oh, that's interesting. Alright, so I'll probably have one person just target the 4th match flame. And then everyone else can just go after the final sword. And that should be simple enough to take us into the next. Take us into the next act. Oh, that's not good. There we go. See, you saw that, like it did like 19 damage. And like 17 stagger. That's how good smoke is. I'm a bit concerned now that, yeah, because now he's in staggered mode. Good news is they're all targeting this. They're all targeting Olga, which is pretty good, which is okay. So pretty much now he's in bear form. Bear form's also pretty easy. Because bear form, I believe, was like one of the few that didn't really have a gimmick. Just gonna hit that deep drag. Oh yeah, and then we can also do some trace of fuels, which is nice. Alright, hopefully we can get him into stagger. Man, smoke is so good. And just to think, this is like the first iteration of smoke, like the basic smoke deck. Wait until like we get some of the cards like later on. Alright, we're just gonna annihilate him. Send him into the 3rd act. Oh, also, quick kind of like side note. If you kind of have him in a position where you're like confident that you're just gonna like get him to 1 health and send him into the next act, try to kind of like use like cards that like, you know, like not your best cards, but like cards that just up your light. Or make you draw extra cards. So it kind of prepares you like that extra bit for the next turn when he goes into the next act. So I'm trying to think of like what Malkuth was. Crap, okay. Yeah, okay, so this is the one with the box. Yeah, it's pretty much... but the bugs are like... Okay, yeah, so pretty much what you want to do here is... So I'm actually going to target... Actually, no, I take that back. Okay, so... Yeah, so what you want is you want to... targets. All the bugs. With her, I'll go Will of the Free Scripts. Yeah, you at least want one of the bugs to die. So the if I remember correctly, the feeble comes into play. Alright, there we go. Alright, we killed them all. I love Gluttony. Gluttony is always my go-to combat page for Malkuth's Law. Alright, so now that all the bugs are gone, okay, I was just reading what that said because I'd never seen that, I guess. I'd never seen that status before. Yeah, but even without the stagger, we should just completely obliterate. Oh my god, the amount of damage we're doing. Holy crap. Alright, there we go. Yeah, we go. Get that smoke on her. Unfortunately, my boundary of death did not come off. Okay, unfortunately, we didn't get her. Right. Ooh, ravenous hunger. Okay, I was just checking to see if like it would actually eat my librarian, because if that happened, that kind of might have screwed me up later on. Alright. But usually, like, I've never really had trouble with this librarian before. Or, like, with this, librarian, with Malkuth's realization. In fact, I don't believe... I'm trying to think of, like, I don't believe I ever... I think, like, the first realization that might cause me problems is probably Netzax. Oh, come on. Okay. So pretty much what happened is it used Ravenous Hunger to heal itself. Okay, alright, there we go. Yeah, also, if you haven't been realizing it, every time you go to a next act, you do revive some of your health. See, looking at it, like, a lot of my health is actually getting pretty concerning. Okay. So, again, we're probably gonna go after all the killer bees. Malkuth's probably gonna go after the queen bee. And yeah, we use extract fuel. Alright, there we go. Alright, there we go. We got it in the stagger. Okay, we got 2 of them in the stagger. Okay. So... Alright, so we're probably gonna repost. Alright, we're gonna do that. Alright. Alright, there we go. Oh no. Well, at least we got rid of that bee. Okay. This is getting pretty close. Alright. So we're gonna put 2 on. Okay, alright, so we're gonna do that, and then that, and then that. And then this one will go after this bee. Alright, here we go. Come on, finish off the Angela bee. Alright, there, we got her in the stagger, which is good. I want all 5 of my librarians to at least survive going into the final one. Come on. Alright, so the Angela bee has gotten into 1 health. Alright, there we go. Okay, so we're in the final one. Alright, so how this works is, this one's actually pretty simple if I remember correctly. My only worry is, like, look how low a lot of my health is. So pretty much what you want to do is we gotta, I believe, destroy up to 5 shrubbery bushes. Which isn't that bad since they only have 30 health. So, because you can't attack Angela until then. So we're gonna do that. That. Alright. I just hope that by the time we get to Angela, we still have a decent amount of librarians standing. Alright, and then finally an extract fuel. There we go. Yeah, so you gotta attack the strawberry bushes until, like, I believe until you... yeah. Until you defeat 5 of them, I believe? Yeah, until 5 have been defeated. Oh, also, Angela loves to, in this phase, do some mass attack pages, which is not good. But at least, like, with her mass attack pages, they only hit, like, the front row. Alright, so this turn, we've got to get rid of all 3. Alright, there we go. Now we got to defeat the final 2. Alright. And that one. Get the daring decisions. Ross needs a flash of syrup, you know. Strawberries don't lack the fire and the flames. Then we'll hit a fleck. There we go. Okay. I'm just glad that those, I'm just glad that, like, she's not really doing much damage to us at all. So as you can see, like, it usually always kind of comes down to the wire like this. Because you had to hold out so much. Now we can F her up. Alright, so we're gonna, like, go against her mass attack page because we obviously want to defend against it. Get that mullet. Sharpen blade. Draw the sword. Yeah, so this is the final act. And you can understand, like, how, like, difficult and annoying these battles are from the usual battles. And they usually take a lot longer too. That's why I said with each battle it's probably going to take me an episode to do. Okay. We still somehow have not lost the librarian yet. But thankfully, because of us defeating the shrubberies, everything now is fatal for her. Come on! Kill her! Send her to the Shadow Realms! There we go, we got her. Oh man. You know, towards the end, that was kind of make me nervous with how low my health was.
おい、ほら、アンジェラ、気がついたか？
状況を見れば何が起こったのかは大体分かったわ。
Well, at least we stopped her craze.
大丈夫？
夢を見てて目覚める気分ってこんな感じなのかしら。感情が湧き上がるというのも。
Just means she's becoming more human.
君がこうやって
She
夢を見るよう
experienced
じゃ
anger for
あ
the
と
first
2、3回で図
time.
書館が崩れそうだな。
申し訳ないことになったわね。
ちょっとはすっきりした？
え？別に。誰かに無視されるだの、認められるだの。そんなくだらないことに執着すること自体がつまらないことなんでしょうね。
そうよ。誰よりも自分のことを見つめられるのは自分しかいないのよ。
またそんな厚かましい顔して当たり前かのように言うのね。誰かが見つめてくれることももう望まないわ。
うまく解決してよかったな。君はどうなるんだろうって思ってたんだよ。
私がどうにかなったらあなたは図書館から出られないからね。
まあそれもそうだけど。
二人とも早く仕事を片付けなさい。あの言葉の通り、自分をちゃんと見つめられるのは自分しかいないんでしょうね。
And there we have it. That was our first realization completed. And our reward for that is gaining access to these ego pages. So essentially what ego pages are is whenever you get your emotion to level 4, I think like I believe it's like every second or third turn after that, you get access to one of these bad boys along with your regular combat pages, and you can do some like serious damage. I mean, like, look at this one. 12 to 40 mass summon everybody and inflict burn. Alright, so now that's done with, we are now going to go with hard. Probably going to go with Eugen, Bamboo Kim, Wang, and probably Olga. Alright, there we go. We got that sorted. So here we go. What's Hod's one? Letitia. Okay, I don't know what a Letitia is, but... Actually, no, I do know what a Letitia is. Okay, this one's kind of annoying. So the way this abnormality battle works is what you want to do is you want to destroy all of these enemies, but when you destroy these enemies, they end up turning into flower enemies. Then you got to destroy the flower enemies before everything of hers just becomes fatal. Yeah, also she's gonna like do that, which is not good. Yeah, so pretty much Letitia herself is not strong. All she really does is she just strengthens her allies. So you want to get rid of the allies first. So we're gonna do that with Flashing Strack. Gonna get some riposte in there. Gonna hit this one with a deep drag. That's all we can do. Probably also, actually no, we're gonna hit the other one with Mulette. Yeah, so I usually kind of like to do 2 at a time. And then maybe a daring decision. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh, also, every time you get hit, you get, you get gifted a card that literally says gift. Now, what is this gift card, you might ask? It's a card that actually is kind of helpful to you, but it's like, it has like a timer on the card where like after like 2 turns, the card will explode and you get dealt a lot of damage. So as I said, they turn into these ugly ass dudes. Okay? Yeah, so if you get hit, you get gifted this card, which is a gift. So you want to get like rid of gift as soon as possible. Okay. I'm gonna gift it twice. Then I'm gonna do that. Alright. Yeah, so pretty much Latidia herself doesn't really do much. She just like defends all the time and strengthens her minions. So that's why you want to get rid of the minions first, so that they don't become a problem later on. Damn, I feel like I was just gifted a lot of gifts then. Yep, that's a lot of gifts. Okay. I'm gonna use Millet and overcome crisis. Gonna also okay, so we don't have access. Okay. So we're gonna inhale the smoke and the path. I'm just gonna use the gifts. The good thing is that gifts is like blunt. So they're actually weak to the one thing they give you. And then once all the allies are dealt with, this battle pretty much becomes a cinch. Oh no, I think I just got staggered. That's not good. Alright, we're gonna use gifts. And then we're just gonna use the other two to go after the remaining friend. There we go. Oh my god. That did so much damage. And then my librarian blew up because... Oh, also, I forgot to mention, yes, whenever a librarian dies, a friend comes back. Which is kind of annoying. Alright. But everyone is looking pretty good, so... I'm gonna use deep drag and inhale smoke on this one. Oh, yeah, we gotta use the gifts. We got to use the gifts. You just gotta get rid of the friends. Alright. Ooh, look at my dad's pretty good. Okay, we're gonna give it to... Okay. Okay, so that one is fine. So we'll gift that one and then deep drag. We just have all of them attack this one, so we'll only have to deal with one left. Alright, good. We staggered it. Alright, there we go. Another one back to dust. And another one that's been staggered. Alright. Gifts. And I guess to overcome crisis. And then we'll probably just attack this one. Alright, there we go. Alright. Good news, we only have to deal with one more. Alright. Give them all the gifts. Give them all the gifts. I think this one's about to explode next turn, so... Give them that one. And there we go. And the good news is that we can also discard them with Olga if we wanted to as well. There we go. No more friends. Unfortunately, one of my characters just died, so... Ah! That's a kick in the teeth. There we go. Alright, finally. Now we have no more friends. Alright, so now everything is staggered. So now we're gonna F her up indefinitely. Honestly, this fight should not have been as, I guess, difficult as it ended up becoming. It got dragged out so much longer than it should have. And the good thing is oh no, been staggered. But at least we staggered her, so... Okay. Gonna hit her with a deep drag. And 2 of her own gifts. See, look at that. It just did 70. There we go, we got it. Honestly, I don't think I would have won that battle without smoke. That's how good smoke is. I feel like I just made that battle much more difficult on myself than it should have. Because you could have just literally gone after her, which is probably what I should have done, but I wanted to get rid of the friends because that makes everything fatal. Now that was actually Hod's 5th abnormality page, but as I said before, you actually can't do hers until you do yes odds. But we're missing a book with yes odds, so... Alright, let's head to... Gabra's floor. So we're probably going to go with... Bamboo-Hatted Kim, Wang... do I want to go with Olga or do I want to go with Eugen? Let's go with Olga. Alright, so the big and will be bad wolf. Oh, okay. I don't really remember this one much. Okay, yeah, so I remember, he ends up swallowing a librarian. And then I think after a while he ends up, so I don't think this one's too gimmicky. I think he ends up swallowing a librarian at one point. And I believe once he does that, everything becomes fatal. But if you do not stagger him in that one turn, he will swallow the librarian and the librarian will die forever. And then I think you get him, once you get him down to a certain amount of health, I believe it might be below 30, it's either 30% or 50%. He ends up transforming into a bad wolf and becomes a lot stronger. So, what we're going to want to do here is, I guess we're gonna do drag. We want to like upend him with the smoke. And then gonna hit the daring decisions and the muley. Alright, here we go. Yeah, so he doesn't eat us yet. I believe it's like an attack where he eats us. Yeah, here we go. I'll gobble you up. I don't know if I want him to eat my smoke guy though. So let's see if we can challenge him on that one. Alright, and then just that. And we'll hit him with the double sharpened blade. Right? I don't know if the gobble up is actually defendable. Okay, it is defendable. So we actually defended against him. But the good news is we now staggered him, so everything is fatal. Do I want vengeance or do I want prey? I like vengeance. Give it a Gabra. Gabra is now very vengeful. And we're gonna hit more of that deep drag. So I think so I think you just gotta get him down to a certain point, and then he transforms into an evil wolf. Alright, there we go. Like, he has like some sort of transformation. Wow, that did a lot of damage. Yeah, see, so as you can see, we're not doing any damage now because he's about to transform into whatever the hell this thing is. Yeah, so he does Howl, Bloodstained Hunt, and Ferocious Fangs. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna wanna just defend against the Howl. Alright, there we go, and there we go. Yeah, we all defended. No effects. Unfortunately, he ended up staggering one of my party members. And of course, oh, okay, so ambush. Okay, so ambush, unfortunately, so he ambushes one of you, so the others can't really do anything. It just happened to be the guy who staggered. Yeah, and he does it again, so yes, we rolled higher. Alright, but now we gotta do it. Okay, so we're down a librarian. Okay, this is not good. Okay. So we're gonna hit the melee along with the drawing of the sword. And then we're gonna hit the deep drag. So I think I probably want to clash with Ferocious Fangs. Even though Bloodstained Hunt does a lot of damage. Come on, we want to stagger him. There we go, we got him. Yeah, and just from there, pretty simple. So yeah, So yeah, like that battle was not too bad. I think what you probably want is when he eats your
何して
librarian,
るんだ
or when he
瞑想
goes for you probably want to avoid him eating a librarian, but if he does, you want to stagger the wolf before he eats your librarian. Otherwise, it's game over. He is swallowed forever.
ただ目を閉じて休んでるだけだ。
That sounds hardcore. Let's do that together.
持ってきた本はいつものところに置いてくよ。邪魔しちゃ悪いし。
待て、
ん
お前は裏路地の何区出身だ？
17区だ。無
District
難なところだったな。
17.
お前が育った裏路地も地獄だったか？
いくらおぞましいところだとしても人間が住む場所だ。そして人間が住む場所はどこだって地獄だし。
結局人間が住む場所だってことだ。裏路地も裏路地次第だからな。
Well, I mean, she did live in the cannibal district,
私
so
はいつでも誰かを守る戦いばかりやってきた。だが完璧に守り抜いたことは稀だ。タバコ一本どうだ？
ありがたいけどいいよ。タバコは昔にやめたんだ。
そうなのか？見かけによらないんだな。幼い頃、私が住んでた裏路地は何度も隣人が変わったんだ。根っこがいいとは言えなくても、それなりによくしてくれた大人は一晩寝て起きたら手足を切られて道端に転がってた。
裏路地だとしてもそんな修羅場が起こることはほぼないんだけどな。
組織間の縄張り争いや粛清の全盛期だったな。今のロボトミーの巣の中みたいに。
よく生き残れたな。やり手のフィクサーでも手を引く裏路地の一つなのに。
血の匂いがまだマシな。他の裏路地に行けるって考えもできなかったな。ただ生き残るために必要な方法だけを必死で探してた。
23区はシャニクサイや笑う顔たちですら子供のお遊びに見えるレベルだったからな。
だから私は絶え間なく探していたんだ。そばにいる人たちを守り抜く方法を。どんな単語を使用しているかによってその人たちの社会を知ることができる。裏路地で使われる言語はとても素朴で直接的だ。日常的に使う単語から似た単語を使うんだ。特別な単語を新しく作って使ったりしない。彼らにとっては日常だから身の回りの言葉を使っているんだ。日常的に使われる言葉の本来の意味よりも
親指と人差し指みたいな5本指や掃除屋が代表例だろうな。
裏路地の人たちが掴み取るために努力すべきことは金と力。生き残るための力以上の価値を追い求める余力がないってことだ。これが笑えるんだよな。力を与えたとしてもその力は自分より下に向かうだけだった。裏路地の被害者は加害者になり損ねた被害者なんだよ。まず
Oh?
カーリーって7歳くらいの
We're
ガキなんだ。
getting a Gebra backstory? Oh, this is awesome. I'm way more interested in this than Angela's. 7 years old, crying in the back streets.
そしてその子の最初の記憶は血と内臓でぐちゃぐちゃになった路地の隅で
I'm guessing that's when her parents died.
友達と呼べる人は全くいなかった。そばにいてもみんな消えてしまうんだ。同い年の友達は掃除屋にどこかへと引っ張られてっておもちゃのように扱われたからな。幼い子はただ息を殺して見ているしかなかった。カーリーが13歳まで生き残れたのはただ運が良かっただけだ。でもその運を無駄にしないためにカーリーは観察しまた観察した。自分の力で生き残るために。
Imagine being able to survive on District 23, which is said to be the worst district in the entire game. It's like cannibals everywhere, sweepers everywhere, death, blood and guts everywhere. And she survived that hellhole since she was 7.
カーリーは20歳になるまで生き残ったんだ。
And she made it to 20 years of
自分な
age.
りの戦略を持ってな。そしてついにフィクサーになった。できることなんて限られているから。
幸いにも組織に落ちたりはしてないみたいだな。
その子はあいつらと同じようにはならないと決心したからな。
Oh wow. We're so glad that that's the case. Could you imagine Gebra, the syndicate gangster?
カーリーというフィクサーが始めた仕事はだんだん安定し
Oh
てい
wow.
った。
She became a fixer.
生まれ育った
She
環
looks
境
like
のおかげ。
completely normal over here in this picture.
俺もそうだったんだけどな。
フィクサーになってある程度力を持ったから同じアパートの隣人を守れるって思ったんだ。結構危ない裏路地だったからカーリーが住んでいた場所は。そしてこれまでお世話になったアパートの隣人のショーンおじさん、そして上の階に住んでいたグースお姉さんに、2人は子供の頃からカーリーに飲み物や食べ物を分け与えたりしてたんだ。
Well, at least there's still some good people left.
長い間知り合ってきた数少ない人たちだったし、それなりにそんなショーンおじさんとグースお姉さんがとてもありがたくて
Money.
お金を分けてあげたんだ。
関心な子だったんだな。
でもその人たちが1月以上金をもらって
Oh boy.
カーリーに何をお
I
返し
don't
した
like
か
where this is going.
流れから見ていいもんじゃなさそうだな。
Yeah, there's always a but to the story.
アパートの住民と手を組み、カーリーが寝ている間に家へ入って体を縛
They
って
broke into her house
金庫を
and
探してたんだ。
tied her to the bed?
ああ、どういうことか分かったよ。カーリーが大金を持っているって思ったみたい。
What a bunch of scumbags! She gave them money out of the goodness of her heart, and they repaid her by trying to rob her. In her sleep, no less.
とうとうやらかしたわけ
I
だ。
can't believe this shit.
カーリーは信じられなかった。知らぬ間に両手両足が縛られていたから驚いたわけじゃない。目の前で卑しい欲望の塊が這いずっていたからだ。昨日までは挨拶を交わす仲だったのに。
And now they showed their true colors.
そしてその隣人たちは誰よりも失う痛みを知ってい
They
る人
threw
たちだ。
her under the bus.
カーリーが持ってきたお金を有意義に使ってくれることを望んだだけなのに、力がついた分みんなを守りたかっただけなのに。
典型的だな。典型的。バカみたいにカーリーは両目開けたままやられたわけじゃないんだろ。
ああ、カーリーはあいつらが考えている以上に強い子だったから。
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, she is.
縛られた縄なんていつでも力で解くことができたけど、待ったんだ。この全てが錯覚かいたずらならいいと思って。でもあいつらが平然と吐き捨てた汚い大金せしめて他の場所に移住できるチャンスができたって、これは夢でも錯覚でもクソでもない現実だったんだ。
で、そのクソ野郎は全員死んだのか？
Oh, please tell me you cut them up good. Tell me you turned them into sashimi. And fed them to the cannibals.
みんな死んだ。そしてカーリーは涙を流
She
した。
killed all of them.
隣人たちの血にまみれたまま。カーリーが守ってきた隣人も結局力を得れば手のひらを返すように他の誰かに暴力を振るったんだ。誰かを守り抜いても繰り返すだけだったんだ。
ああ、だからか同情する必要もないと思ったりはしてるよ。俺もフィクサーを始めてすぐの頃、何が正しいのか本当にずっと悩んでたんだ。
お前はどんなフィクサーだったんだ？
それなりに理性的に道理をわきまえて理性的に仕事を片付けるクリーンなフィクサーだったよ。そのせいか評判は結構良かったし。
そんな評判のいいフィクサーが救急フィクサーになったのか。
Yeah. Will we ever find out the reason why we plummeted to the bottom ranks?
ああ、世の中どう転がっていくかわかんないよな。あのカーリーが立派に育って俺の前に立ってるみたいに。
そうだな。
一回前後不覚になって大暴れした時があったんだ。我を忘れて。それで敵もいっぱいできたな。まだその残光が消えないんだ。
やっぱりお前もいろいろあったんだな。そんな顔してる。カーリーは完全に私じゃないけど、まだ私の中にいるんだ。
そう見えるな。君は確かにいろんなフィクサーと違うよ。まっすぐなんだ。
話しすぎたな。寝る。
Good chat, Gerbera. Hope we find out more.
ゆっくり休めよ、カーリー。
Alright, everyone. Well, we've been going on for a while. We've done all the abnormalities. Next time, we're going to be getting right back into storied invitations. So, thanks again for watching, guys. Have more parts out soon. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and see ya.